Welcome to round 2 of the Red Bull Global Rallycross Championship for 2015. The first round was at Fort Lauderdale just 3 weekends ago, a little bit further down the A1A, where what we've got is a series of 2 semi-final races. The top 3 will then advance to the final. The last chance qualifier, the top 4 will advance to the final, so therefore there'll be 10 cars over an 8-lap final to get those maximum points. And throughout the race, the drivers must take at least once the Cobalt Tools Joker lap once in the race. This is how the course looks.
Well, Toby, let's go around here. You can see that the circuit uses a lot of the sports car 24-hour Daytona track, and it all starts there on the black starting grid as they launch hard off the line into turn 1, a nice flowing 180. Then you go onto the dirt. You've got 2 dirt hairpins, turn 2 and turn 3. Very tricky to not overcook the entry speed. Then we hit the tabletop jump. It's a beautiful jump this race. And then you go into 4-5. I think that's the trickiest part of the course. Very easy to carry too much speed and blow turn 5. Then back onto the asphalt through 7, 8, and 9. There's the penalty box off to driver's left. You've got to do it stop and go if you do something like jump the start. And then you come back across start finish to complete the lap. About a minute to do a lap around here. And of course, the Cobalt Tools Joker lap is that yellow section. You get 1 chance to do that per race.
Now we're looking forward to seeing the cars on the racetrack, but Kristen is down in the paddock with the latest. Now let's have a look at the current point standing. Ken Block leading on 59 points ahead of Scott Speed. Nelson Piquet Jr., he's in 3rd position. Sebastian Eriksson, new in the big class for this year. He's in 4th ahead of Tanner Faust, Austin Dine, Arpin. Gonzalez Jr., he's not here this weekend. They've got to keep cool in more ways than one as we lined up with our royal purple grid. Patrick Sandell on the left-hand side with Scott Speed in the middle. Tanner Faust with his VW Beetle on the right-hand side.
And going back to row 2, we see a Chip Ganassi entry with Steve Arpin and Jeff Ward. Bucky Lasek is not going to make the starting grid today. The Subarus continuing to have some issues with their new cars, but these 2 guys have the potential to charge to the front.
So it's a did not start for Lasek. That's big news for Subaru, but let's keep an eye out and see how Jeff Ward gets on with his Ford Fiesta. On board with Tanner Faust, he must be roasting in there.
Oh yeah, it is 140 degrees. Is you can cook an egg inside that cockpit right now. He just can't wait for the lights to go on so we get a little air flowing through that Volkswagen Beetle cockpit. Here we go.
Okay then, so Sandell with the white fronts to the Ford Fiesta on the left-hand side. We wait for the reds to go out and then we go green! Now, on the left-hand side, Sandell's got to take the Joker lap, which he does immediately together with Jeff Ward. But look at the 2 Volkswagen Beetles, and he's pushed Tanner Faust wide. Scott Speed has got the advantage there in 3rd position, but leading is going to be Sandell from Ward.
And look at Ward, has got his nose inside Sandell already. Ward has been hugely impressive on the dirt. He is trying every bit of different line all the way around this course. Just a pro motocross, guys. We're on board with Tanner Faust as they go up and over the jump. Tanner trying to keep pace with Scott Speed, who has really set the tone for that Andretti team so far.
Now then, at the front, it's still Patrick Sandell leading with that new for 2015 Ford Fiesta. He has yet to take the Cobalt Tools Joker lap at the moment, but we come back on board with one of my favorite pieces of this racetrack. We're building speed to 125, maybe even 130 miles an hour there with Tanner Faust, who then those 2 Beetles take the Joker.
You see Speed and Faust take the Joker. It shaves off a good couple of seconds, but Sandell comes back out in front of Speed, but look at Jeff Ward, and Tanner Faust gets into the back of Ward. And Ward is not going to like getting a rub from that Rockstar driver. And look at him go to the inside now. Tanner's going to try to force his way through.
Now this is the crucial position, Townsend, because it's the top 3 who will automatically advance to the final later. So Jeff Ward, he's in that 3rd position at the moment. What a debut from Jeff Ward. He's driven everything but a rallycross car until I think yesterday, the day before, and here he is. He's ahead of Tanner Faust. Incredible.
If you are 40 or above like me and you're hanging on to glory days gone by, stand up and salute Jeff Ward. He's done a heck of a job. At the top of your screen, you can see that only Steve Arpin has yet to take that Cobalt Tools Joker lap.
So it's even Stevens. Everybody's taken the Joker with the first 3 places as we come back on board with the Volkswagen Beetle, run by Andretti RallyCross, Tanner Faust at the wheel. Look at those wheels scrabbling for grip as they get onto dirt. You can see it's a bit darker here because they've watered it down just before this race.
Yeah, and look at Jeff Ward. He's sliding a little bit wide. You have to be so careful on the dirt to not overcook the entries of those 180s. If you get out on the soft, loamy stuff, it really kills your lap time. You can lose a full second, one corner. Back on board with Tanner Faust, working hard on the asphalt, 4 laps to go. And of course, Faust sitting in that 4th position. He needs to get past Ward to advance straight through to the final. He does not want to have to go to the LCQ. It's going to chew up his car even more.
And look at them as they dance through that quick left and right series of corners as we come with Tanner Faust. Is that a little bit of understeer now, a little bit of oversteer? Not quite, as he goes up another couple of gears and then hard down the gearbox again as he puts all the weight onto that outside front wheel, and now he's on the dirt. Ward is driving like the wind.
He is, and look at him. Allowed Faust to close up the gap. And here they're going to short shift. They're going to grab 4th gear a little early to try to help the traction, give them as much launch as they can off the ramp. Steve Arpin running in 5th, but again, he still has not taken the Joker lap yet.
So there's a bit of a card literally up his sleeve as we focus on this transfer spot. The green flashes on the top of the Ford Fiesta. That's Jeff Ward, he's in 3rd. Then the yellow Beetle, Tanner Faust, as they rush past our camera. Brilliant shot there. Don't forget, Patrick Sandell still leads this race ahead of Scott Speed. There in the distance, the Ford Fiesta, the Beetle, then again the Ford Fiesta and the Beetle, as we go hard on the brakes into the hairpin. You got to get the turning done on the tarmac before the dirt.
You're right. You want to rotate the car as much as you can on the tarmac. Get one squirt before you hit the dirt. And this is fascinating. We've got a Ford-Volkswagen battle going in sequence. It's really interesting to watch the competitive differences between the two brakes. Between the two brands, excuse me, as we're 2 laps to go approaching the white flag.
Back onto the tarmac. Who has the leap? Who has the jump away from that corner? Again, it's Jeff Ward staying ahead of Tanner Faust. Tanner Faust will not be happy. He'll be feeling the heat in more ways than one now inside the cockpit of that car. 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Scorching conditions, and as you said, Townsend, he could be baking an egg, but he won't be baking a cake to celebrate, will he?
Well, he's following a guy. Wow, as Scott Speed pulls off to the right-hand side with some kind of mechanical issue. That put Jeff Ward into 2nd. Tanner Faust is now 3rd, and Steve Arpin is now fighting for a transfer spot.
So, drama. There have been all sorts of problems with the VW Beetle this weekend. Scott Speedy had an engine change after practice yesterday, Townsend. I wonder if some gremlins have crept into the front end of that Beetle. That's bad luck for Speed, though, fresh off his X Games gold medal. So, Faust is in 3rd. He will be able to transfer. Sandell safe and sound in the lead, but Jeff Ward soon, in just a couple of corners' time, to guarantee himself a place in the final.
And Jeff Ward has to be careful. Slid a little wide again there on the asphalt as that Beetle continues to hound him with 1 corner to go. Let's see what happens. I promise you, Tanner will be doing everything he can to pass. Even though he'll transfer, he wants a preferred start position in that final. But no, Jeff Ward will hold on for P2.
Sandell takes the victory ahead of P2 for Ward. Tanner Faust in 3rd position with that VW Beetle. Not so much joy for his teammate Scott Speed. He's already out of the car and his arms are folded, and Scott Speed is not happy at all. Look at that. Oh dear, oh dear. And for a racing driver to go out so early in proceedings, it just eats you from the inside.
Well, especially when it's this hot. He's got to stand there and wait for the tow truck to bring him in. But once again, Patrick Sandell has set the pace all weekend. Takes a pretty trouble-free win there. And of course, Ward and Faust transfer on.
Steve Arpin, Scott Speed, will he get that car mended for the LCQ?
But you got to be reliable to make it to the end as we go to the starting grid. And up front, Ken Block has really set the pace along with Patrick Sandell in one of those M Sport Fords. You've got Johnny Wieman starting outside, and then Austin Dine in another M Sport car.
Continuing on with our royal purple grid, we got Sebastian Eriksson on the left-hand side, Nelson Piquet Jr. in the middle, and Sverre Isaksson, the Norwegian, on the right-hand side with that, again, another new car for 2015. It is the Subaru, but it's Ken Block who's on the pole position, and Ken Block, who really does look like the man who's got his sights on the 2015 Red Bull Global Rallycross Championship. He finished so close last year, only 5 points behind Joni Wieman. Weeman is in this race. Wait for the green. We go! He releases the Hoonigan handbrake, and it's going to be Ken Block who takes the Joker for the first time. In the meantime, it's 3-3. Austin Dine chasing the Subaru. Drama and action. Nelson Piquet Jr. trying to push Ericsson out of the way, not once, but twice, and all they're doing is holding themselves up.
Well, Nelson Piquet forcing the bumper on the back of Ericsson, who couldn't make the turn with that contact and that continued push from Piquet. And look at Austin Dine now working up the inside of Weeman.
But look at the Subaru of Isaacson. Oh, there's been a problem for Ericsson. He got pushed over to the left-hand side. I wonder if there's something broken with the suspension or something from when he had contact with Piquet.
Totally possible. As we're on board with Ericsson, he got all crossed up over the jump, and everybody was so anxious to get to Ken Block. They did not want Ken Block to get a clean start, and he is gone right now. Huge gap.
That is an enormous lead of about 20 car lengths. Isaacson scrubbing the speed off with the Subaru. He's in third position at the moment. We're riding on board with Austin Dine with his Ford Fiesta as we charge down to that hairpin where we saw all the drama a lap ago.
And Dine has got to get past Isaacson quickly here, because the Subarus have struggled for outright pace all weekend, and Dine can ill afford to lose time to P1 and P2 if he's going to have a chance to make the transfer here.
Riding on board with Dine through the dust, over the jump they go. Hard on the brakes now on the dirt. Behind Dine we have Joni Veeman. Veeman unable to race in the opening weekend of the year 3 weeks ago at Fort Lauderdale. A problem with his back. He had terrible luck at the very first time of asking at X Games in Austin, and he's got the most amount of work to do to try and have any chance of this year's championship.
And here goes the Joker lap for Johnny Weeman. He is up the inside, and I'll bet he'll come out ahead, but he might have to block going to the hairpin. He comes out in third.
So that's a great maneuver by the Oldsberg's MSC driver. The Finn has done well, and there's been drama.
Dine gets into the back of Sverre Isaacson and turns him into the tires. Heavy contact for the Subaru, but he continues.
He does. The door is completely stoved in on the right-hand side. Look at it. But the roll cage will have saved that door from going any further into the car. I remind you that Ken Block continues to lead this race. He is away with it ahead of Piquet Jr. and Veeman. Here we have Austin Dine. There's a little bit of damage on the front, and there is a change in position. Veeman going past Piquet Jr. Has Piquet Jr. got a problem? Because that's a really strange place to lose a position.
It really is. You've got to think that maybe there's a handling imbalance or something has caused Piquet to lose quite a bit of pace as Veeman just blows by to take second. Meanwhile, with all of this action, Ken Block's in a different zip code. He's halfway to Miami.
He's 6 seconds ahead, nearly 7 seconds ahead as Piquet. You rather fancy he's limping this one home, and you don't see a mistake like that very often from Nelson Piquet Jr. He's that good. He doesn't make mistakes.
That's the third time, though, that's happened this weekend. It's like he's got a turbo lag issue. Now he's completely stopped, and Isaacson's going to go past Piquet.
It's as if when it drops off the cam, there is no engine there for him. There's no revs at all. So this is going to be a tremendous battle to see who is going to be able to transfer, who is going to be able to get third position.
And Piquet goes wide as Austin Dine now moves into fourth. So Austin Dine's got 3 laps to get 1 more position. He's going to try to track down Isaacson.
There is third position. That is Isaacson. Then we've got Austin Dine with the yellow Ford Fiesta. Piquet Jr. in 5th, still struggling on the brakes into this hairpin right-hander at the International Horseshoe at Daytona. So third at the moment is in the hands of Sverre Isaacson.
And 2 laps to go. Austin Dine looks to have a quicker pace than Isaacson. What's going to happen, Toby, when he gets close enough based on the previous incident just a few laps ago?
Here we ride on board with Austin Dine, trying to get the 650 horsepower down through those Yokohama tires, but they're slick tires, and you have to say it's amazing how much forward motion they can get on that damp dirt with slick tires. He's getting closer. He's getting very close. Like I said, he's got the pace. I'll bet he's a second quicker per lap, but he has to be patient here. He cannot have the kind of contact as he blows past Isaacson to take the transfer spot. I think Isaacson has a problem. Left rear, I believe, or maybe it's the right rear. No, he's limping. It doesn't sound as if he's changing gear. He's not revving very high. They had all sorts of technical problems yesterday with Subaru. as he's got one more lap to go. Will he be able to get back up into third? No, not a chance. Block leads at the moment from Veman, from Austin Dine. Now it's down to PK. Can he close in on that third position with the remaining half a lap? A lot of work to do.
That's a big gap to make up. Right now, Austin Dine has clean air and smooth sailing to the finish line. Half a lap to hold on to that transfer position.
Second year in the supercar class for Austin Dine. He's doing so well, but you got to take your hat off to Ken Block, winner in Fort Lauderdale, winning here the semi-final, guaranteeing himself a place in the final here at Daytona. What a way to start his slate here this weekend. Second is Joni Veman, and Austin Dine gets third position, so he will advance to the 8-lap final, where there is a chance of 50 points on the table up for grabs. That will give him an enormous amount of confidence as he goes back towards the garage. But Ken Block, ever cool, I'm sure will have a little wry smile underneath that crash helmet.
And he should be smiling, because his car, that M Sport built car, just like Sandell and Austin Dine, that is the measuring stick today.
Ken Block winning ahead of Joni Veman, ahead of Austin Dine. Those are your three in yellow. Who will advance? PK Jr. He's going to go to the LCQ together with Isaacson, together with Sebastian Eriksson, who didn't have an opportunity to even complete the first lap. Here is Eriksson's car. It's back in the paddock, in the pits. And if those boys know anything, they know how to get a car all sorted. Likewise, the Volkswagen Andretti RallyCross guys are working on Tanner Faust's car. Patrick Sandell has advanced to the final, together with Jeff Ward. Driver of the weekend so far is Jeff Ward, ahead of Tanner Faust. And in the second semi-final, Ken Block, Joni Veman and Austin Dine have guaranteed their positions in the final. Volkswagen Motorsport are really behind that effort. Here is the royal purple grid on the pole position. It's Patrick Sandell, Ken Block in the middle, who does not recognize that car. Well, you haven't been on the internet recently. And on the outside, it is Joni Veman. Onto row 2.
Well, those are the three big dogs up front, but then going back, Jeff Ward turns 54 years old on Monday, and he has been giving it to these young guns. Austin Dine starting next to him, and Tanner Faust did not even do a practice start. They're doing everything they can to let that Volkswagen get through this final round.
Onto the third row, we have got the Swede, Sebastian Eriksson, his first full year in the supercars. Alongside him is Arpin, and at the back is Nelson Piquet Jr. But on board with the man in the middle of the front row, it is Ken Block, the man leading the championship at the moment, making sure that it is in gear. And there is the Hoonigan handbrake, the lever of fever that he is holding as we get ready for Daytona Red Bull Global Rallycross. We're underway! Brilliant start by Sandell. Block had to go to the Cobalt Tools Joker option immediately, so it's going to be Sandell who leads. No, look at Block, he's had a really good run. Oh my goodness me, they've had a big crash, and Jeff Ward is going to lead as he goes through into, no, and he gets hit. There is drama already, and it is carnage, and it's going to be Tanner Faust who leads, and Ken Block's car is stricken on the outside of the course and he's going again. I have never seen drama like that in the first few corners ever. Faust leads from Dine, from then the two Olsberg cars. Unbelievable.
What an unreal battle for position on the first lap. They knew that the start was everything. They wanted to lead, but they couldn't figure it out between the two of them. And now Tanner Faust, on a weekend where Volkswagen has had all kinds of issues, is pulling away in a Beetle.
Joni Veman has had real trouble. That car is crabbing as he takes the Joker. So does the leader, and he comes back out in the lead. It's Tanner Faust. We are riding on board with a second place man. This is Austin Dine going into the corner where we saw Block stricken only a lap ago. I remind you that Block is in the race. He's just at the top left of your screen there. He's missing the rear bumper, but amazingly, everything else on that car is okay.
Wow, and we're on board with Eriksson. Just ran over a huge piece of debris left over from that earlier contact with Block and Sandell. Now these two teammates, both young, both experienced, both winners, and they faced each other before in the GRC Light season in 2013. and they're fighting for the podium, but in front of them, it's Austin Dine, and I can tell there's some crabbing going on there with Weeman's car. Clearly some sort of contact. That right rear is incredibly towed in. Look at it. Yeah. It is. That's a good 10 degrees of right rear toe in. He's driving a forklift, Toby.
So he's got to turn left to go in a straight line.
Well, he's going to have a really hard time turning right for sure. I mean, turning left, because that right rear is driving the back of the car in all kinds of action, as Steve Arpin now has worked his way up to the bumper of Ericsson, and look who's come back. That's Patrick Sandell.
What a fight back by Sandell, the former junior world rally champion from Sweden. There he is in the grey and white Ford Fiesta, the Cobalt Tools car, and he is revving. Look at him come back onto the tarmac. We've got a long way to go in this race. I wish it would go even further, because it's fantastic action that we're seeing here as they come onto the home straight at a speed of over 125 miles an hour.
Sandell should be furious about that contact early on. He knows that he was the car to beat. I spoke to Brian Herta, his team owner. This would be the first win for Brian Herta Rally Sport. I said, Brian, what'd you tell Sandell? He said, you have the fastest car, don't screw up. And he's going to fight back through to demonstrate why he's a former champion. He got the wrong gear there in the dirt. It looks like he has the pace, but he's got to figure out a way to get by.
Okay, we're on board with Ericsson. This is fourth position, chasing his crabbing teammate, the car slewing sideways. But Weeman needs the points. Ericsson needs the points as well. He's currently fourth in the championship after the first race in Fort Lauderdale.
Now, important here is that Ericsson has not taken the Joker lap yet, so we should see Ericsson make the move, running that Cobalt Tools shorter Joker lap. Let's see if he takes it here. No, stays on course. He wants to be a little closer to Weeman before he elects the shortcut. Looking back at Steve Arpin. Steve Arpin is Jeff Ward's teammate at Chip Ganassi Racing. As we watch Weeman, unbelievable his ability to adjust to just an uncanny amount of right rear toe that's been put into that car via contact. Austin Dine working to stay in second. Huge opportunity for that young American driver. On board right now with Dine. He's got clean track in front of him. If he can just stay consistent here, he could be looking at a very good second place finish. And now I think Sandell has pulled off the track. Sandell's in trouble. Heartbreak for Patrick Sandell.
What does Patrick Sandell have to do in 2015 to score any points at all? It's not going his way. Again, not taking the Joker is Sebastian Ericsson. He's closing in on third in front of him, and Austin Dunn in second. You know what, Townsend? I think I'm thinking what you're thinking is he could get those two in one bite with the Joker lap.
About 2 seconds when you take that Joker lap, and you're absolutely right. Ericsson could make the magic move and jump to second place in one corner.
He's got to keep on the tail of the Ford Fiesta in front of him. Two very different specifications of Ford Fiesta in front of him, though. Austin Dine just coming through your shot there.
Oh, no.
And Ken Block, has he got a puncture?
Well, he should have something for the amount of contact that he went through with both the tire barrier and Sandell. Right rear tire now down. Now, we've seen this before. If you remember back a couple of years ago, I believe it was in the Mini Cooper, a driver surviving to finish to the final round.
That was X Games in Munich. Liam Doran taking a gold medal with only 3 wheels on his car. So if anybody can do it, Block knows how to do it as we cross the line. 2 more laps to go. We're still on board with the 4th place man, Ericsson, but he's yet to take the Cobalt Tools Joker lap, and that should leap him up into second place. Austin Dine in front of us, the man in the lead, and gone is Tanner Faust, who must be laughing his head off. He's got such a lead.
Well, and I don't think Tanner Faust would have expected this kind of final round with all of the struggles they've had this weekend, to see both Block and Sandell go out of the race in the first corner. Unbelievable luck, unbelievable good luck now for Tanner Faust in that Volkswagen group. I've got to say, a spectacular job by Johnny Weeman to not only hang in there, but really close the gap to Austin Dine. Ericsson has to take the Joker here, I would think, on the last lap. He did that in the semifinal to great effect, and he's saving the best for last.
The rear end of that Weeman car still hanging on. The tire will be scrubbing away. The heat going through that Yokohama will be immense as it goes down that straight before he handbrakes it onto the dirt. Faust jumps, then Austin Dine is about to jump and does, through the carnage that was left after the first lap. Utter carnage. I've never seen anything like it before, and incredibly everybody got going again. That was even more amazing. Now we come back on to the surface here, and then making our run out of here, second gear, building all the way up to sixth gear, 125, maybe even 130 miles an hour.
There goes Tanner Faust. Here comes Austin Dine. Now what can Ericsson do with the Joker?
Here he comes into the right-hander. He's got the tighter line. He doesn't look as committed as Summers gone round there. Tanner Faust wins in Daytona. Second position is going to go to a photo finish, and we believe it's Dine who gets the second position. Ericsson was just behind him by a couple of hundredths of a second, but Tanner Faust now makes it a tally in his global rallycross career of 5 victories in the GRC. Tanner Faust and Volkswagen back on winning form. Look at him celebrate inside that car. What a great run. But what happened to Ken Block?
Well, what happened to
stellar start?
The right rear tire completely gone. He's just on the wheel, survives to take the finish, but he's got to be disappointed. I mean, between him and Sandell, they were the ones to beat. Huge relief for this guy, though. Tanner Faust back where he's used to being, at the top step in victory lane.
As he goes to victory lane, let's have a quick look at what happened. Look at this. Faust and Block came together. They got tied together. They drove into each other. Block got airborne. He then hit the tires from another angle, completely smashed it out of the way. Ward had nowhere to go but to handbrake it, and then he lost the speed. Sandell had to pay to get back in. He went so far out. And then Block eventually got going again. In the meantime, Tanner Faust, and this is the photo finish for second position.
Wow.
Wow, look at that for Austin Dine. He will be over the moon with how well he drove that last corner.
Terrific finish for both drivers. Unbelievable Ericsson to gain that much distance on the Joker lap, and with Austin Dine, his best ever Red Bull GRC finish, his first time on the podium in the final. But Tanner Faust is getting psyched. He's realizing, I just won in Daytona after such a tough weekend.
And for Volkswagen, they are winning again. Look at this. Tanner Faust victorious ahead of Austin Dine by literally inches ahead of third place man Sebastian Ericsson. Wieman off the podium in fourth ahead of Arpin. Ward, what a great round of applause he received as he crossed the line as a rookie to be ahead of PK Kettle of Fish. So let's have a look at the championship after 2 races.
Tanner Faust. I mean, your championship leader now. He struggled a bit down in Fort Lauderdale, and we have certainly documented all of Volkswagen's struggles so far this weekend, but he comes away your points leader. And how about Austin Diner's first podium finish, and now he's moved into the top 4.
Austin Dine down there with Will.